Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Rooted Woman Project, where we gather together the modern and ancient wisdom being shared by the women who nourish the world. I have a dear and actually an old friend with me today, Melissa Hoffmann, who I'm very excited to introduce you to. She is a mindset coach and a hypnotherapist. She works with spiritual entrepreneurs, helping them create unshakable belief in themselves and launch their business by unlocking the power of their subconscious minds to manifest the life and business they want. I am a massive fan of the unconscious, and I love how you actually blend together psychology, neuroscience, spirituality, and strategy, all to help your clients. So I would just love to first welcome you, and also to give you a chance to just share a little bit about yourself and how you became a mindset and hypnotherapist. Your journey.
Well, thank you for having me. And my journey to where I am now has been a very long one. And so you and I met in college, and it's funny that I feel like we always come back when we're doing the work that we're really meant to do. We always come back to something from either our childhood or as we were growing up. And I studied psychology. I got my degree in psychology in college. And then after I graduated, my only thought was, okay, you become a therapist or a school counselor. And I just didn't want to take that path. And so I went in a different direction. And here I am. I don't even remember how many years, but like 15 years, maybe more later. And I'm coming back to what I was initially interested in and thought I would do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I've been an entrepreneur for, I think it's 13 years now.
Wow.
And so I did the expected path of you go to college, you get, a respectable job, you make some money, but don't make too much money because, that's greedy. And so first I was a teacher and I barely making ends meet. And I was so stressed out. And then I thought, well, I want to make money. And so then I went into pharmaceutical sales.
Wow. That's a huge jump.
It's a huge jump. And it was the most toxic career. And I did that for 7 years and knew I needed to leave. And so I got clear on what I wanted to do was be a makeup artist. And again, going back to my childhood, I always loved makeup and makeovers and beauty and everything. And so I thought that was going to be it for me. I built a business as a makeup artist. I added photography in. I'm a manifesting generator, so I have lots of interests and passions, and I'm also very multi-passionate. And I did that for 13 years. And then I had this calling, this whisper in my ear of, you're meant to be a coach. Like you really want to be a coach. And I ignored it for a while. And then I took my first life coaching certification and did nothing with it. I didn't know anything about mindset. And I had all kinds of limiting beliefs on why I couldn't be a coach and continued to do my makeup business, even though my heart wasn't in it. And then the pandemic happened and the lockdown, and I had to shut down my business. And I thought, okay, this is the time to become a coach. And so I started off as coaching other makeup artists and helping them build their business. And just feeling like it's not quite right, but it's a start. And then just seeing my coaching evolve. And always, once I learned about mindset, always having this interest in learning more about it and how the subconscious mind works and how you can create your reality, how you can create what you want and manifest the life that you want through working with the subconscious mind. And also the spiritual field and the laws of the universe and everything. And I saw this certification for, it was called like success in mindset training and, or a certification. And it included NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, talking directly to the subconscious mind, EFT tapping, hypnotherapy, and other techniques that some people call time techniques and they call neural energetic encoding.
Wow.
And it's amazing. And so I took this certification last year And it just blew my mind open to the possibilities,
Wow.
and really discovering that often what is keeping us from the success that we want is our mindset. And
Mm,
so it's such a foundational piece of having what you want, manifestation,
mhm,
creating the business that you want. And so I decided to focus on that.
mhm.
And that's where I am.
Wow. It's so I love everything there where it's like that certification covered so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
incredible. And at first it was very overwhelming.
Mhm.
But I went at my own pace, and just the more I learned and practiced and immersed myself in it, and not only practice on my fellow coaches in the program, but also like doing these techniques on myself and really embodying
Yeah.
what I want to help other women with,
Hmm.
just really helped it all to kind of click into place. So it's been pretty amazing.
So I want to talk a little bit about mindset because, well, not a little bit, we're going to talk a lot about it, but I want to start by saying I feel like there was kind of this explosion
Yeah.
where mindset became like the thing.
Hmm.
And I've been in various trainings that have talked, like worked us through different mindset activities. And a lot of the times it'll be like, okay, imagine yourself 5 years in the future, or imagine what you want and then write it out in detail, right? Like take a doubt that you have and then write out the opposite of it, or,
Hmm.
write it in the way as if you've already achieved it. And I feel like what you're doing takes it to like a whole nother level because it's
Yeah.
not just about the imaginal realm. Like
Yeah.
you're actually reprogramming some stuff in there.
Hmm.
Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that? Like,
Yeah.
what is the
So,
difference?
like the way I was taught mindset too, like the exercises that you've done, it's working with the conscious mind. And so your brain is always trying to fuck with you, basically.
Uh-huh.
You're like,
Yeah.
that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. You may be writing that, but we don't really believe that. And
Right.
so, to some extent, that does work. It just takes longer. And first of all, you have to get to like the root cause of why you have these thoughts, where they came from.
Yep.
And sometimes they're not even yours. Sometimes it's from something that happened before you were even born, it's ancestral. And sometimes it was something that happened between the years of 0 and 7, and you're not even consciously aware of it. And
Right.
then the other thing is you have to work on that belief at the subconscious level. And so that's where the neuroscience comes in,
Mhm.
because we're running on programs that were essentially created between 0 and 7. And we're just following those programs. And it's so hard to get out of that programming if you don't change it at the conscious or the subconscious level. And so that is where the techniques that I do come in,
Mhm.
because not only do we look at the root cause of why you even have this limiting belief,
Right.
but reprogramming it with a new belief. And if you just do it at the conscious level, it's just so much harder. Like I was literally like writing out affirmations for like an hour, and who has
Mhm.
time for that, especially moms.
Right. Yeah.
But when you go in with these techniques, and it's using hypnotic language and learning how to speak to the subconscious mind,
Yeah.
and getting you in a state of deep relaxation, a trance, like that's why hypnotherapy is so powerful. It's because you are so relaxed, it's bypassing the conscious mind to get at the subconscious level to
Right.
really change your wiring, the way you think, what you believe, the habits that you do, and how you see yourself.
Right. Right. I would add like I went through an EFT. I didn't do the training in that way, but there's a woman I've worked with that she's done tapping with me. And one of the things that was so interesting when I experienced tapping was that the body starts to release stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like I
Yeah.
was crying, even though there wasn't necessarily something in that moment to cry over. And so
Yeah.
it was like this really interesting release that was happening.
Yeah, we store emotions in our body, in different places in our body. So you're also able at a like a subconscious level to release the emotions that are trapped and the beliefs that are trapped in your body with different techniques like tapping. And that's why tapping is so powerful, is because it's using those acupuncture and acupressure meridians to release the emotions and like the negative thoughts, and to reprogram in, first you do like a release with the tapping, and then you reprogram in the new beliefs. And it's amazing the shift that occurs in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, it really, really is. So you do the tapping, and then you also do the NLP, right?
Yeah, so NLP is it's just the language that it's the language that you use in these techniques, and it's also there are certain techniques that work with the subconscious. So for example, there's anchoring. I don't know if you've ever heard of anchoring.
I haven't.
So anchoring is where you can change an emotion really quickly. And
Mm.
so you can, like, if you're feeling like you're afraid to, let's say you're afraid to show up on social media, on Instagram Live, and you want to feel more confident to show up on Instagram Live, you can create an anchor, a confidence anchor, and it's located on your body. So you choose a point on your body. A lot of times we use like knuckles because that's really easy, but you can use different points on your body, and you anchor in the feeling of confidence while pressing on your knuckle. And it creates this association. It's like Pavlov's salivating dogs. It's the exact same thing. And so it creates the association that when you press on this knuckle, I feel this burst of confidence and belief in myself. And so by tapping on this, then I can show up and do the Instagram Live and feel really confident.
This is reminding me a little bit. Have you read the book Alter Ego?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either, but I reference it probably more than I should for a book I haven't read. But it was referred to me and described to me by a coach of mine in the past, Emily Merrill, who talks about having like an object or a thing. Like maybe it's like red lipstick or your earrings or a particular outfit or whatever, but you kind of assign it to an alter ego. And then you assign qualities of yourself and feelings and ways that you show up as that person, as that part of yourself. And then when you go to like do the Instagram Live or, cold call somebody or have a new client call, like you put that thing on and then you dip into that space. But I love how yours is almost more like you're actually connecting to the body, connecting it to the body specifically, as opposed to something putting on the body.
Yeah. Yeah. And that like alter ego, like that's just shifting your identity. So that's changing the way that you see yourself. Like Beyonce, she's talked about how she has Sasha Fierce. That's her alter ego that she shifts into. So it's just changing her identity. And then she goes back to Beyonce, which I imagine is still like really fabulous.
I know. Who are we kidding?
I feel like at this point they're not that different, but yeah. So, and that is also like you can change your identity at the subconscious level. Like you're still essentially who you are, but you can shift into this, higher version of yourself that you really want to step into.
So this might be a bit of a silly question, but I'm not going to lie. It's one that I have sometimes when I come in like the realm of this. So let's say we come in with, I'm angry at my partner, or I'm angry at a boundary being crossed, right? We don't necessarily want to cancel out our boundaries and like general things that we want to be concerned about. And so I feel like I've heard from other people, like, does hypnotherapy make you susceptible to like completely radically changing your perspective on things to the point that maybe you'd be okay with things that you wouldn't have been okay with before?
No, you always have agency over your own mind. So hypnotherapy is just putting you into a deep trance and a more receptive state. And you will never do anything that is against your values. You're always consciously aware. So you're never going to be like completely zonked out. And then I'm like saying suggestions like you're going to, I don't know, do something that doesn't, that you wouldn't normally do. Like look like a chicken, for example. Like we see hypnotherapy in movies and like entertainment at the fair or something. And, it's not like that. Like maybe there are some degrees of that. I don't know, but that's not like what I do. I've never experienced where I was so willing to like bark like a dog or something.
Right.
You're always aware of your surroundings, what's going on, and you always have agency. And so like you would never, first of all, when I do hypnotherapy with someone, like you're coming to me with what you want to change. And so if you want to change, like being okay with your husband in that situation, like that's up to you. And I'm gonna support you in that. But also like part of the process is getting clear on like what's really at the root of why you're mad at your husband and why you want to be okay with it. And like, there's probably some beliefs underneath that. That's like what we would work with the hypnotherapy on.
Yeah. So it's really like digging down deep.
Yeah.
I work with my clients a lot on this as well, where I kind of communicate it like if you're looking out at the ocean, where the ocean is your consciousness, and the buoy sitting on top of the ocean, that's like your conscious mind.
Yeah.
You operate, but then you follow that buoy down to the chain where it's anchored. Like that's the seed. That's like the core of where this stuff is emanating from. And that's what I love about the work that we both do, is getting down to that seed. Because without that, it's like the groundhog game at the arcade.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you specifically work, I mean, I think this work is so important for everyone on the planet. But your expertise is with spiritual entrepreneurs. So I'd love to hear a little bit about how is this in service to them? Like what do they, like, what are some of the boundaries or the hurdles that they come across that these techniques help support?
Yeah. So I say spiritual entrepreneurs, but it's really anyone who is like wanting to make a deeper impact and heart-centered, and they know that they're meant for more. And I say anyone, but I really mean women and those who identify as women. And so a lot of the women that I'm working with have limiting beliefs like I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, a lot of imposter syndrome, and it keeps them stuck from doing what they want. And I love working with entrepreneurs because I've been an entrepreneur for so long. I know what goes through your head, and I know how important having someone to support you with building that mindset of confidence, belief, positive, thinking, but like in a way that serves you. So that way you can go out and build this business that you like know you're meant to create, and supporting you in putting yourself out there and getting started, because a lot of times we feel so stuck and afraid because of this feeling like you're not enough or you're not good enough. And we let that block us from stepping into our brilliance and sharing our message and being a light for others. So that's why I focus on spiritual entrepreneurs and just really helping them overcome those mindset blocks that they have that are just keeping them from having the success they want, making the impact, and sharing their voice.
And now I'm guessing your clients don't just like come and be like, okay, we're going to do these specific techniques. Like there's some coaching involved, because one of the things I'm noticing with people too is that like they don't necessarily know what their core thought and belief is, right? They need some support in getting there. So is that part of the whole experience?
Yeah. So really, like part of what we do is uncover like what's really going on with them. So it's like, what do you think your struggles are and how is this affecting you? And then getting underneath and like, let's see what's like really going on. You may think it's this, but really it's this. You may think that you don't know the right strategy to, build your business, but really it's because you don't believe that you're worthy of having a business or charging for your services, or you don't have anything important to say. And so it's really getting at those core beliefs and also creating the vision of what you want. So visioning is a really important process of working with the subconscious mind and being able to achieve your goals. Like if you don't know where you're going, if you can't see it, you can't create that certainty in your body, in yourself, that you're going to achieve it. And visioning is a huge part of manifestation as well. And so helping them get clear on what they want, what it looks like, and really feeling into what it feels like to have it so they can believe that it's possible. And also looking at like doing the identity work, looking at who they want to be, like who their true self is, and how they can really step into the woman that they know they're meant to be and feel really confident in expressing her and showing up as her.
Right. And I love that you help guide that, because I feel like, and myself included, there's so much, it's so easy for me to fantasize. It's so easy for me to envision the future that I want. It's so easy for me to say like, well, I want this, and I can picture where it's going to be. And it's like, it's so real. It's as if it's already happened. But then there's that, but it hasn't happened yet. And why not? Right. Then the frustration comes in, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why do I not have it yet? And it feels like, and this is where I love what you do, where there's like the conscious believes it's possible. The conscious can visualize it. What's going on under the surface that's actually feeding something different, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Like getting clear on what that is and clearing all of that like mind junk out of the way. And also like holding someone along the way, guiding them on the path to keep going when you're going to have ups and downs as an entrepreneur. It's not all like, up and holding you during those. I know, I wish it was like those nice graphs, but holding you through those periods when you're feeling frustrated, helping you come back to like, why am I doing this? Come back to your vision, come back to why you are the perfect person to do this, and helping them just to get through that hump, that like dip, because it happens. And the only way that you're going to fail is if you quit. But you can keep going and just hold that belief, like, yes, my success is coming, and maybe I don't have it right now, but it's still coming. So let me keep showing up. Let me keep taking action. Let me continue to work on my belief, and whatever limiting beliefs are coming in subconsciously, like being able to not let them affect you.
Yeah. I feel like those external states and those limiting beliefs and those doubts are so exacerbated, I'm going to say it, by social media.
Yes.
Right? Like we see those people who look like they do this in any area of their life, whether it's business or relationships or finance. Like there's like this idea that it's possible. You only really see these really short periods of their life, and you're like, okay, well, why is that not happening for me? Right. And all those little beliefs start popping in because our vantage point is so skewed. I feel like so much has deepened in the space of being a woman with social media and how we're supposed to show up and be viewed. And I feel like it's starting to change. Like there's so many more women on there who are sharing their vulnerability. They're sharing their challenges. They're showing up disheveled, like in their true just self. And it feels like it's starting to kind of break and challenge some of those molds.
Yeah. And that's what's important too, is like realizing that everyone is on their own journey and is struggling, whether they show it or not. And a lot of times those people that are at the top, like they've been working on it for a long time. And so it may seem like they're an overnight success, but like maybe they've been building their audience for 10 years, like ever since Instagram came out, and they're not sharing that part. Because they just want you to see the shiny, the latest, success, and think like, oh, okay, that could be possible for me to have that instantly. Let me sign up for whatever they're offering. And so just to realize like we're all on our own path, and we all have different lives, things that are going on, and not to compare ourselves to someone else that is like in the middle, or the, I don't want to say end, but they're further along. It's like, let's just keep our blinders on and focus on ourselves. And so I had to stop following a lot of those people because it
Yes.
wasn't, at first I thought, oh, look at what's possible. But then I realized it was really fucking with my mind and
Yes,
was
me
not
too.
serving my mindset. And so I stopped following anyone that was talking about millions of dollars and,
Yeah,
where money was their marketing. And
right.
it made me get into comparison and feel
Yeah.
like I wasn't good enough because I wasn't making the amount of money that they were, and said it should be so anyone could do it and would be so easy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
just
Yes.
unfollow anyone who doesn't make you feel good.
Yes. And don't follow people in the name of inspiration. Like
Yes.
that's what always gets me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to follow this person because they're doing something I want to do. And now I can like learn from them how to do it. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, like I
Yeah.
feel like that's at the heart of what hypnosis and mindset and like working through these your own patterns
Yeah.
is by focusing on your own stuff, you get to the heart of who you are. And
Hmm.
then in
Yeah.
that space, it's such a powerful catalyst for actually then creating what you want because
Yeah.
you're doing it from your own truth and desire, right?
Hmm. Yeah. And your own gifts, and you're not trying to be a carbon copy of someone else. And I'm sure you've seen that when you see like a bigger entrepreneur, and people that work with them often look like carbon copies. And so maybe that's working in the beginning, but eventually it's not sustainable.
Right, absolutely. So now let's say we've done the various techniques. We've kind of dismantled our limiting beliefs and our unconscious thought patterns. I imagine, well, I know from my own experience in working with people too, that once you kind of start to dismantle some of this stuff, there's like this phase of like, holy shit, like who am I now?
Hmm.
Like there's almost like a relearning
Yeah.
that comes in. And then you get the visioning
Yeah.
of where you want to move into. And is that where, because I know you recently did this amazing manifestation workshop. So does
Hmm.
all of this stuff kind of lead into the actual creating in real time?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's when you get to program in like these new beliefs that are going to support you in manifesting the life and the business that you want. And reprogramming in, like doing identity work, like hypnosis is really great for shifting your identity into someone who maybe felt like they weren't good enough, into someone that believes anything is possible for them. And of course, they're worthy of making lots of money and being successful, and really creating the vision of what that looks like, and reprogramming in so you just know like, this is me, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, and this is happening for me.
Yeah. And then you bring the structure,
Yeah.
right? Because
Mhm.
you also talk about how you bring the strategy behind it.
Yeah, you have to have some strategy. You can't just like mindset your way to success. Like you have to actually show up and take action. And that's like where a lot of, I feel, manifestation like teachings go wrong, because
Mhm.
it's just like The Secret. It was just like,
Yeah.
just visualize it and
Mhm.
it will happen. And like, no, you actually have to like take action. But the
Yeah.
great thing about when you've cleared out some of these limiting beliefs, that's when you get these downloads like, oh, this is the next step for me to take.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so much more confident sharing my message.
Yes.
And every step you take helps get you clearer on what is the next step and what is going to take you to what your end goal is.
Yeah. I remember once I looked up on like dictionary.com the meaning of manifesting, and it was literally to make something come to form.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like for so long for me, the word manifesting was so attached to the spiritual piece of it.
Yeah.
It was so attached to like thinking the right thoughts and having your thoughts be phrased in a certain way and
Mhm.
like all the visualizations. And then it's like what you just said, there also has to be like this tangible effort that you put
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Like by rewiring the things that you doubt about yourself, you now have the confidence to take action in ways that you wouldn't have before, therefore creating more momentum towards the thing you actually want to
Mhm.
create.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
it's not like the reason why I love the simplicity of it is because to be able to manifest something doesn't mean you're special. It doesn't mean you're tapped into the flow of the universe and like, you know, the divine is channeling through you in some way that isn't accessible to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like it's literally clearing out the gunk,
Mm-hmm.
creating new ways of operating, and then taking action from that new space.
Yeah.
Co-creation, right? You also talk about how it's like strategy and then the mindset, but also you say like, you know, the laws of the universe and
Mm-hmm.
connection to energy. So
Yeah.
there is, you know, connecting to those unseen realms too.
Yeah, it's a connection between, you know, the spiritual world, whatever you believe, the universe, source, God, goddess, and the physical world.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, working with the laws of vibration and energy to be in the right vibration of what it is that you want to attract. And then working with your subconscious to create thoughts that are going to support that. And it's not being in that energy at all times, because no one can be like that. We're human. But knowing how to take yourself out of when you get into one of those negative thought spirals and it's really like dragging you down, it's, you know, being able to work through those emotions and get yourself to a place where you can feel better again and get back into possibility, so you
Mhm.
continue to take action.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we start to kind of complete our circle, how do you work with people? Like if this is sparking some curiosity and people are like, I want my mind reprogrammed, like how is that? What is a day in the life of like working with you look like?
Yeah. So right now I'm working with women one-on-one. And so I have a 6-month package where we work together and we look at all of these things, like what are your limiting beliefs? What are your challenges? And where do you want to be? And creating a unique plan to get you where you want to be and to release these limiting beliefs, reprogramming in new beliefs and thoughts that are going to support you in having the life and the business that you want, and then creating a clear plan to help you get there. And it's always like evolving, and you have me supporting you along the way, because of course there's going to be times that you go into disbelief and you get into those dips and you need someone to guide you out of that. And sometimes it's reflecting back like why you're the perfect person to help the people you want to help and why you're going to be successful, because you're, you know, talented at this and this, and just you know, being that guide for someone, because I know what it's like to feel like you're not enough and you can't have the thing that you want, and to be able to get out of that state and be more into possibility and
Mm-hmm.
just looking at creating the life and the business that you want and
Yeah.
creating your dreams. And
Mhm.
so I have a 6-month package, and I also have a hypnosis package. So if you just want to experience hypnosis
Mhm.
and have some limiting beliefs that you want to work through, then we work together for 6 weeks. It's we do a weekly session, and it's a mixture of coaching, NLP techniques to get at the root cause, and then using hypnosis to reprogram in the new beliefs and the new identity, so that way you can achieve your goal, whatever it is that you're working towards. Most likely, probably it's business if you're working with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's, you know, creating abundance and wealth in your life and
Mhm.
being more of a magnet for what you want.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start doing I think monthly hypnosis circles online, so people
Mm.
can get a chance to experience what hypnosis is like. And it's going to be like have a theme, and then you get the audio download, because
Nice.
part of what makes the subconscious mind work and be able to reprogram it is repetition.
Right,
And
right.
so having that hypnosis audio that you can listen to every day, especially
Yeah.
like at night as you're starting to fall asleep and going
Mm.
into theta waves and, you know, and
Mhm.
eventually delta when you're sleeping, it's like really helpful, and it just makes it easier to reprogram your mind.
That would be so fun.
Yeah. So I'm not sure when the first one will be. I'm just like in the initial stages of planning, but it will
Yeah.
probably
Oh, that's so fun.
be.
The thing I love about the package, like as an entrepreneur, I know how lonely it can be.
Mhm.
And I know the strong potential for mental spiral,
Yeah.
right? Like all along my journey, I have always found so much in that one-on-one connection. And I
Mhm.
feel like what you're offering is pretty rare because there are so many people out there offering these like grand group experiences where
Mhm.
you maybe get access to the person like once a month.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like doing some videos or doing some assignments, right? But even when you have access to that person during those calls, you're maybe on the calls with 20, 30, 40, hundreds of other people.
Yeah.
And you don't get that one-on-one attention. So I love that that's like your core, what you core offer and bring to these women. And I also love the length of time because I feel like it goes against like the fast fashion of coaching, right? Like, come on in here for 4 sessions and I'm going to change your life. Like,
Mhm.
no, like I love the way that you've like crafted the container because I think it speaks both to like the intimate touch that a lot of entrepreneurs are craving
Mhm.
and that things don't happen overnight and that
Yeah.
you're going to be with them for all of the ups and downs because then that's when the real change can happen.
Mhm. Yeah, and I feel like you need that length of time. You need at least 6 months to make real change.
Right.
Sometimes it's even a year. Like
Yeah.
I've seen, for myself that sometimes it just takes a year to really create like the structure and the mindset and putting yourself out there and letting people like get used to your new message and what you're selling and the
Mhm.
like, no trust factor and
Yeah.
everything. That all takes time. It takes time to build a business.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like it wouldn't be in service of someone to just work together for like 4 sessions, a couple months, even
Totally.
3 months. I feel like you're just scratching the surface at
Yep.
help setting them up for success.
Yep. And when you infuse it with the strategy, it's like you're teaching someone how to think for themselves
Mhm. Yeah.
and you're giving them the structures that they need. So at the end of your time together, I imagine they would have the structures, a
Mhm.
clear strategy, and a more defined anchor to their voice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And also you're not going to have all those limiting beliefs because like
yeah.
maybe you've, worked with somebody and they've just given you the structure and you're still like spiraling like
Yes.
I know what to do, but I can't really I'm not ready yet or I don't know who am I to do this and they said
Yep.
to do this but that's not going to work for me. And
Mhm.
so really working on the mindset piece in the beginning is so important to your success.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna make sure, as always, to have your information available to anyone who wants to reach out and be a part of her world. I highly, highly recommend it. I am the lucky one. I get to have park play dates with her and and all that fun stuff. So I can attest from firsthand experience that you're just a gem to be around, and the
Oh,
wisdom that
thank
you
you.
bring in your experience and the container that you're crafting is so important. And I'm honored I get to share you with the people in my community because if you're out there and you want to start a business and you even just have a little inkling of a seed that it could possibly be for you, or maybe you already have one, but you're not seeing the growth that you want, Melissa can help you out. So I'll make sure to have her information below so they can find you. I'll include your website and your Instagram so you can
Mhm.
reach out to her. Um, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was such a great conversation.
Yes, next time we'll have to do some live hypnotherapy. You can put me in there and make
Yeah.
me fuck like a chicken.
Yeah, yeah. Or we could do another like fun technique, like I mentioned before. We got on the recording of anchoring, which is
Oh
super
yeah.
fun
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so easy to do. So
Okay, we will
yeah,
do that. We will come back. We will share all the techniques with you
yeah.
guys. All right, until next time, I'll see you in the next one.